Okay, the video's over. Thanks for coming. Have a good night. Just kidding. Welcome to the 2019 February 11th Valley View School Board meeting. I would ask Member Badouris to lead everyone to rise, turn your cell phones off to vibrate, and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please. To the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Vice President Zach, hey, can you turn it down a little bit up here? We're getting feedback. Thank you. The board mission statement, please.
Our mission is to empower all learners to be college and career ready and to develop, grow, and achieve as productive citizens.
Thank you. Dr. Mitchum, the agenda.
Yes, Mr. President, I'd like to ask that the board approve the agenda as presented.
So moved. Second.
Motion is seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. The ayes have it. Treasurer's report. Mr. Gazafi.
Treasurer's Action Report 5.1 includes the usual monthly reports as prepared by our treasurer, including the interim obligation payments for the month of January, totaling $4,161,025.05 for your action this evening.
Motion to approve.
So moved.
Motion and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, seeing none. Roll call vote, please.
Member Perro?
Yes.
Member Badouris?
Yes.
Member Gilbo?
Yes.
Secretary Sikora?
Yes.
Vice President Zach?
Yes.
President Quigley?
Yes.
The schedule of bills being recommended for approval this evening represents 7 funds totaling $2,345,614.77.
Motion?
So moved. Second.
Motion and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, seeing none. Roll call vote, please.
Member Badouris?
Yes.
Member Gilbo?
Yes.
Member Perro?
Yes.
Secretary Sikora?
Yes.
Vice President Zach?
Yes.
President Quigley?
Yes.
Treasurer's Action 5.3 through 5.5 are presented for information only. If you have any questions, be happy to answer them at this time.
Anybody have any questions? Gary, I see that we're only at 2.7 million in what the state owes us, so that's a good sign, right?
Yep, and they're 35 days.
Perfect.
35 days in arrears, so not too bad.
The reason I bring that up for those of you out there is because we have been as much as $14 million owed by the state. And as they say, a million here, pretty soon you're talking about real money. Fortunately, with some passage of legislation a year or so ago, even though the state still has serious budget problems and is several $billion behind, at least they're keeping up with the education dollars that are owed to school districts. Moving down the agenda. Consent agenda items. Dr. Mitchum.
Yes, Mr. President, I'd like to ask that the board approve consent agenda items 6.1 through 6.5. 6.1 board meeting minutes for January 28th, 2019. 6.2 executive session meeting minutes for January 28th, 2019. Student activity contract request approval, Oakview Elementary and Jane Addams Middle School with Scholastic Book Fairs. 6.4 student activity contract request approval for Oakview Elementary with Intrastate Studio and Publishing, and 6.5 gifts to Jonas Salk Elementary School, A. Vito Martinez Middle School, Romeoville High School, and the LMC Battle of the Books.
Second.
Motion and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, seeing none. Roll call vote, please.
Member Perro?
Yes.
Member Gilbo?
Yes.
Member Badouris?
Yes.
Secretary Sikora?
Yes.
Vice President Zach?
Yes.
President Quigley?
Yes. Now what most of you all are here for, student and staff recognition. Battle of the Books. First place. Who's coming down first? Are we doing them all at once, or how are we doing this? Woodview Elementary. And second place is Irene King. And third place, Pioneer. Yep.
While our teams are making our way up, I just wanted to take a moment to explain the Battle of the Books. Hi, my name is Katie Thomas, and I'm the LMC Director at BJ Ward Elementary. I also have the pleasure of serving as the LMC rep for the elementary schools in Valley View. I want to thank the board for allowing us to present our top district battle teams tonight. A little background on the event. It started 2 years ago with 6 of the elementary schools and then grew to all 12 elementary schools last year. The teams are quizzed about the books in a trivia style format, and we have school battles followed by a district battle. The battle makes reading come to life for our students. I could stand at this podium for the next 2 hours telling you stories about how the battle has impacted my team. Don't worry, I won't. But from the student who is a proud self-declared non-reader who led their team to the district battle the next year, to a student who told me that her main motivation for learning English was to participate in the Battle of the Books. I mean, those are the stories that just motivate you to want to keep teaching and keep going with this battle. The librarians in Valley View are so thankful for the support that we've received from the Valley View Educational Enrichment Foundation, the VVSD Curriculum Department, Mayor Claire, Dr. Mitchum, and many more community supporters. Thank you for investing in our students and for investing in us. So I'm very proud to represent these teams, and their LMC directors are quickly going to introduce them.
Hello, I'm Dal Bristow. I am the LMC director at Pioneer. My team this year named themselves Bristow's Bookworms, which received probably not any favoritism from me, but possibly. They were, I believe, the only all-boy team that's been in our Battle of the Books. We took 3rd place this year, just by 1 question. I would like to introduce our team: Andrew Courtney, Thomas McDermott, Nicholas Spreeman, Ronan Yap, and Evan Willman.
I'm Michelle Philippides. I am the LMC director at Irene King, and we came in 2nd this year, which I'm very excited. This is my 1st year in the LMC, 1st year with Battle of the Books, so I was pretty excited about that. My team is Juan Carrasco, Lucy Constanetta, Anna Peachy, Sydney Cunningham, and last but not least, Melanie Alarello.
Hi, my name is Felix Soto. I'm the LMC director at Woodview Elementary School. We were the 1st place winners for the Battle of the Books. I just want to say something about these girls. For the Battle of the Books, you may have heard that each student is required to read 4 books, which with the 5 students gives you the 20 books for the Blue STEM. These girls they chose to read all 20 books on their own, each individually. So also, we just had our national play day for the whole school. They played throughout the day. And these girls chose to come down to the LMC and write summaries for the stories. So I'm very, very proud of their dedication. So we have Alexa O'Donnell, Bree Chapman, Miley Ortega, Sam Bryan, and Samantha, Janiyah McClinton. Alexa? Miley? Go ahead, girls. Go.
Hi, I'm Sharon Peterson. I'm the librarian at Oakville Elementary School. It was through a teacher and myself that we started this whole program 3 years ago. And we finally this year decided we're going to make it even more official, so we got a plaque. We're going to be awarding a plaque to Woodview School. We'd also like to present the board with the plaque as well. It has the names of Jamie McGee from 2017, Jonas Salk from 2018, and now this year Woodview at 2019. So I'd like to present it to you.
I'm sure we'll find a good spot for that in the Ad Center.
And if you didn't go to the Battle of the Books, you should. It was outstanding. Very well ran by the librarians. They had everything together, and the kids did an excellent job.
I have to echo what Debbie just said. It was the most efficiently run event that, I mean, you don't see that very often. Went without a hitch, and these kids, to watch them up there collaborating with their peers to come up with the right answer, and the excitement they had, it was really fun.
Thank you. Next, we have IESA, State Cheerleading Finals, Large Team Routine, AVM cheerleaders. Come on down. You're already down.
Hello, I'm Sarah DiDonato, the principal at AVM, and Mr. Normand, our assistant principal, was going to introduce our coaches, but then I realized he is one of our honorary cheerleaders as well. And if you would like to see Mr. Normand doing a perfect V, he is on our AVM website with our cheerleaders as they were teaching him. So make sure you take a look at that and check out his V at the end of the announcements. Yeah, all, girls, ready? Do the V. Show Mr. Normand. There you go. Oh, and he's doing it. All right. So, yeah, round of applause for that. We have our coaches, Mrs. Allison Kaharski and Stephanie Brand, who will be introducing our state cheerleaders today. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Allison Kuharski. All of these girls have worked really hard this season, and they have shown great improvement since our first practice back in October. Coach Brand and I are very proud of them and their accomplishments this season. They have shown dedication to both our team and their academics. They always show school spirit and truly show what it means to be a Lady Viking. Thank you, girls, for a great season. And to our 8th graders, we wish you good luck in high school. And the 6th and 7th graders, we look forward to having you back next year. So starting with Chelsea Ajagyu, Fabiola Alvarez, Alyssa Brown, Isabella Dujali, Ella Gage, Genesis Gascott, Rafalin Gratacci, Faith Green, Sheridan Hudson, Alethea Kenevi, Sophia Kozlow, Allison Love, Mia Maglaya, Jocelyn Miller, Luciana Nelson, Ariana Olingar, Annalise Pitt, Gianna Santoro, Mackenzie Saxon, Silkia Sepulveda, Tania Smith, Jaden Swearingen, and Alexia Zwolinski.
Brooks Middle School cheerleading finals.
Thank you, Mr. Quigley, board members, and senior leadership. My name is Patrick McGinnis. I'm the assistant principal at Brooks Middle School. Unfortunately, I do not have a picture of me doing the perfect V on our website yet. The challenge has been laid. Thank you, Bill. Tonight, we're here to recognize our cheer squad as well. So I want to go ahead and introduce these young ladies. They are what it means to be a Bulldog. They're both leaders on the mat as well as in the classroom. They are led by two great educators as well as coaches in Miss Parisi and Miss Pearson, who also work tirelessly to make sure the students are excelling both in performance and in the classroom. So without further ado, Miss Parisi.
Good evening. I just want to start off by saying we are so proud of these girls. They work so hard all year long. And I just wanted to give you guys some background information about our squad this year. We actually only had 2 girls returning from last year, which actually makes us a brand new almost squad this year. So we have about half the team is new to cheer. So just seeing their accomplishments are just outstanding, how well they learned the routine, how quickly they caught on. So we are very proud of them, and we have a lot to look forward to, and state better watch out next year for Brooks Cheer. Okay, first we have Isabel Castro. Alexia Sensi. LaShante Donegan. Tamaya Hearing. Lanaya Huddleston. Kristen Johnson. Hannah Jones. Morgan Kelly. Jasmine Osornio. Dynasty Riles, and Anaya Taggett.
Next up, Jane Addams.
Good evening. I'm Teresa Polson, the proud principal of Jane Addams Middle School, and on behalf of myself, Assistant Principal Zadanig, we're honored to recognize our student athletes here this evening from our cheer team. So we like to brag a little bit about what they do in the classroom before we cheer about their amazing work on the mat. So the young ladies that stand behind me have an average GPA of a 3.4. And the young ladies last year scored a 4 or a 5 on Park, so we expect that in a couple months as well. The coaches also support them along with the family, so Coach Martin and Coach O'Donnell will approach the stand to introduce them and celebrate their career this year. But I also wanted to give a shout out to the transportation department, though it seems like it was so long ago that we traveled down to Peoria that the transportation department took a snowy drive down to state, and they got our athletes there safe, there and back. So a special shout out to them.
Good evening. We want to first express our gratitude for recognizing the 2018-2019 Jane Addams varsity cheerleading team for placing at the IESA competition this year. This group of girls has worked extremely hard and put in countless hours as a team and individually to improve skills throughout this season. The team came with a variety of skill sets at the start, but set a goal the first week of practice to place in the top 10 at the IESA competition.
This group of girls motivated each other and held one another accountable in improving stunts and tumbling and presenting themselves as leaders not only at practice, but also at school and in the community. We are so proud of this team as coaches and want to congratulate them on achieving the goal they had set and earning 7th place at the competition. Without further ado, we would like to introduce you to the members of the 2018-2019 varsity cheerleading team. Erin Sosa, Kyrie Terreras, Abby Chirulo, Autumn Stone,
And for our 8th graders, Isabella Gomez, Sydney Hinojosa, Lexi Reed, Amanda Martinez, Kaya Guilford, Lauren Moore, Shariah Murray, and Katrina Gates.
Next up, what do we have? Illinois Music Education Association All-State, Bolingbrook High School. Mr. Pascavage, Dr. Pascavage.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Good evening to our families, our board, senior leadership. And it is awesome to see this many families out here tonight. It is greatly, greatly appreciated. Today I'll be introducing Mr. Morrison. He's going to talk a little bit about ILMEA and our Illinois High School Theater All-State. Now, I went down to All-State this year because I wanted to see what it was like, and the kids had been asking me to go. So I made the mistake of telling Mr. Morrison that, hey, let the kids pick a few sessions for me. So the first session they picked was Finding Confidence in My Body with a bunch of high school kids. And the second session that they picked for me was Tippity Tap. So I learned to tap dance. But no, it was nice to see. I also got to see Tariq in the Heights. The reason why I want to talk a little bit about Tariq is I met him when he was in 7th grade, and I was the principal over at Jane Addams. And I heard him just kind of goofing around in the hall with his voice, and I was like, ooh, this is great. So I wanted him to do the national anthem at a sporting event. And he goes, okay, yeah, I can do it. And our band gets together, and they try to get in key, and it's not working out. And Tariq goes, Dr. Pascavage, I got this. Don't worry about that band. He goes, I can just sing it. And from that moment, I realized just how talented of a young man he is. And even more than that, he's just a great, great kid. So David Morrison's going to come up to talk about all of our kids.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Pascavage, esteemed board members, senior leadership, all of our honored guests that are here tonight. My name is David Morrison. I'm an English teacher at Bolingbrook High School and one of the head directors of theater at Bolingbrook. And it's with great honor that I stand before you today to tell you about the amazing skill and talent of Tariq Griffin, a Bolingbrook High School senior. Each year, our growing theater department encourages students to audition and interview alongside hundreds of other students from around the state for the opportunity to perform in or to help build the Illinois High School Theater Festival All-State production. For us in theater, this represents our going to state. In June of last year, Tariq auditioned for the cast of Lin-Manuel Miranda's In the Heights. Lin-Manuel Miranda, the Hamilton guy. Amid steep competition, Tariq was cast as Benny, one of the 4 lead roles. At this time, I'd like Tariq to share a little bit of his experience.
Well, I mean, first off, I just want to thank Mr. Morrison for, that, lengthy intro. It's all right, though. No, without Mr. Morrison, I probably wouldn't have been put in that situation that I was in. All-State was probably, I would say, if there's anybody here who does theater and who is looking to go into drama in middle school or theater in high school, just do it, because without Morrison, I would not have auditioned, and I would say that experience was probably at the very top of my list of best experiences of my life. I got to become friends with so many people who I had never seen in my life, and they were all from around the state of Illinois. When you see this show, if you're ever able to, the cast, if you think about it, it's really comprised of Broadway talent just inside the bodies of high schoolers. That's how talented everybody was, and it was so great to be among that. because now I have so many everlasting friendships. I've developed so many everlasting friendships through the years already, just through my theater at high school. So I would definitely 10 out of 10 recommend anybody who's interested to get involved now, because like I said, this experience alone wouldn't have gotten to it without Morrison, and I really appreciate that for him telling me about it. I had no clue about it, really. But yeah, it was one of the greatest experiences of my life, so.
Get my
Morrison.
notes back up here. In January of this year, our theater students, along with Dr. Jason Pascavage, tippity-tapping along the way, were blessed to see Tariq perform front and center in one of the largest theaters at the University of Illinois. As part of the biggest high school theater festival in the nation, Tariq's amazing performance was viewed by over 4,000 students, educators, and theater professionals from around the state and beyond. Tariq represents the third year in a row that Bolingbrook High School has had students selected to the All-State production, which is an honor shared by only a handful of schools across the state. And we could not be more proud of his success and hard work. You can see him in March at BHS at our production of Jekyll and Hyde, the spring musical. Please join me in congratulating Tariq Griffin, who honored the Raiders by being selected to the 2019 IHSTF All-State cast of In the Heights. I will now take a moment to talk about some of our music students. The BHS choirs had 3 students represent Bolingbrook at All-State this year. In order to qualify for state, students must prepare for an audition in October. The audition consists of learning new chorale repertoire, performing scales and triads, as well as sight reading, and in the case of jazz, demonstrating the ability to scat sing. 11 BHS students then made it to the next level, which is participation in the District Festival. The District Festival is where band, choir, and orchestra students come together for a day to rehearse and put together a performance. District 9 is one of the most competitive districts in Illinois, comprising all of the public and private high schools from Romeoville up to Caneland and from Yorkville over to Addison Trail. If student scores are high enough, they're able to qualify for state. In early December, we were notified that Tim Worrelton made the All-State Choir. Spencer Avery and Shane Franz made the Honors Choir. At this time, I'd like Spencer Avery to share a little bit of the experience of this.
Hello. IMEA, I'd say, honestly, second to what Tariq went through with All-State Theater is another one of the amazing experiences that I've had the opportunity to do in high school. Just being able to be in a choir of the best and most technically gifted musicians in the state, and to not really hear your voice anymore and just be able to collaborate with that many people and make beautiful music is a really amazing experience that I wouldn't have gotten through the amazing faculty at Bolingbrook High School. So yeah, anyone who has the opportunity to go into music, go into choir. IMEA isn't just choir. There's jazz bands, there's jazz, vocal jazz, there is choir, there is band, there is orchestra. So any music that you want to make, I highly encourage you to do so.
All right, so we are so proud this year of these talented young men as they have honored the Raiders this year at All-State for music. So please give a round of applause to Spencer Avery, Shane Franz, and Tim Worrelton. Yes.
For those, I've said this before, for those of you who don't know, the theaters at Bolingbrook and Romeoville High School, choirs, madrigals, musicals, have some incredible performances. And as Tariq said, I'm standing on a stage with people who are Broadway quality. We have really, really impressive talent right here in our communities. You don't have to go downtown and spend $150 on a ticket. You can spend $5 and be really, really entertained for 3 or 4 hours or 2 or 3 hours, depending on the show. It is amazing. So if you get a chance, the Christmas programs, all the things that we do are just top notch in both the schools. And I just want to thank all the kids that participate in that, and of course the instructors, because it really is amazing. Next up, chess finals, Bolingbrook High School. What? Nope, the chess team is not here. Illinois State Scholars, Bolingbrook High School.
Come on over, Spencer. We're going to be calling your name in a minute here. My name is Chris Ruddy. I'm the assistant principal at Bolingbrook High School, and I'm here to present the prestigious Illinois State Scholar Award. This award is based on student academic performance, class rank after 6 semesters, and standardized test scores. Each year, less than 10% of all high school seniors are awarded this title. This year, Bolingbrook High School is lucky enough to have over 75 Illinois State Scholars, and over 30 of them are wicked smart students are here this evening. I'm just going to ask if you could hold your applause until I'm done announcing all the names. Oya Kinsola Akindipe. Spencer Avery. Good job. Camille Cabas. Catherine Carranza. Raven Cosme. Darnisha Crockett. Andrea Chart. Lindsay Flood. Eunice Fawara, Zachary Held, Anthony Jordan, Serena Karavich, Nihal Kaur, Joshua Kurian, Angel Lee, John Masick, Cami McNulty, Trevor Mormon, Kazim Niaz, Megan O'Donnell, Marcus Perez, Justin Reyes, Aman Siddiqui, Samantha Slapika, Theodore Alexi Tam, Prue Thomas, Kayla Travis, Kayla Walters, Tim Worlton, Yona Zadie, and Grace Silvinsky. Congratulations to these wicked smart Bolingbrook High School students.
While they're taking their picture, Principal Kinder, Romeoville High School, all state scholars.
Good evening, President Quigley, members of the board, Dr. Mitchum, senior leadership, members of the audience. I just first want to not only congratulate Bolingbrook High School State Scholars, but all of the awards that were presented tonight. It's just awesome to see all of you here and to see all the success that's going on throughout the district. So on behalf of Romeoville High School, to all the people that are still here, congratulations and awesome job this fall and winter season with all of your success. Congratulations. As Ms. Ruddy stated about the Illinois State Scholars, the students' performance on the first 6 semesters of academic coursework at Romeoville High School, along with standardized state testing. Romeoville High School is very pleased to announce that we had 40 state scholars, the most that we've had in school history, going back as long as I can remember for the past 20 years. And we have 23 of those state scholars here with us tonight. And if you could hold your applause until the end and give them one big, huge rah-rah at the end, we'd appreciate it. First, Sharaf Abudalem, Jamato Shuku Ajagu, David Alfaro, Xavier Augustine, Estefania Baez, Peyton Camden, Eduardo Castillo, Corinne Doty, Peter Javolsky, Michael Gabarczyk, Tegan Glenke, Yad Graywall, Tamarin Jordan, Samuel Keppel, Alyssa Kruger, Justin Lejeski, Lynette Lopez, Lauren Mason, Eric Nelson, Marlon Ochoa, Paula Ornelas, Brandon Stern, and Janelle Bia Bellamores. Congratulations, Spartans.
It's not lost on the people sitting up here that the parents are also involved in how some of these young students perform. And we know that education starts at home. So thank you for what you do for the kids and for the community. And congratulations to all you highly educated learners, and good luck in your futures. Next up, Pillars of Valley View. I believe first up is Hermanson Elementary.
Good evening, board members, Dr. Mitchum, parents, senior leadership, students, and community members. My name is Loretta Fortute, and I am the principal of Hermanson Elementary School. It is truly an honor to stand before you this evening to acknowledge Diane Cardona, Natalie Harper, who was not able to be here with us this evening because of the weather, Elvia Ramirez, and Dina Battle as pillars of Valley View School District. Diane Cardona, Elvia Ramirez, and Natalie Harper are rock star secretaries at KLH. Each of them is committed and has contributed countless hours and personal time to the well-being of our families, students, and staff. Their smiling faces are the first you see when you enter the main office, and they are always willing to help our community, whether it is to enroll students, process registration, or to provide general information about attending our school. When students and staff are in need of resources, any one of them will locate what's needed to support instruction and to maximize learning for all of our students. Their peers often comment on how helpful they are, always flexible and willing to extend a helping hand to problem solve and to initiate a solution. Mrs. McCray and I are forever grateful for the consistent support and guidance they have provided both of us as new administrators at KLH, and appreciate their commitment to excellence for our learning community and Valley View School District. Round of applause, please. It has been commented by her peers that Dina Battle is a lifeline. In the midst of chaos, Dina is calm, ready to take action, and flexible when working with her students in the Stellar program at KLH as a paraprofessional. Dina represents a pillar of Valley View in that she is always putting the students first. She is extremely caring, loving, and has such strong rapport with all of our students. It is evident that all students feel safe and connected to her, even upon entering the building. Dina helps support instruction on a number of levels with some of our most challenging students. She also supports her team and goes above and beyond when situations arise. On many occasions, Dina stays late after school to make schedules, refine lesson plans, and to prep for the classroom routine and instruction when staff has been out and unable to help support the instructional leader role. In addition, Dina is very positive with parents and aware of student or family needs. She is sure to either step up or to offer support for those things, or will seek out the appropriate staff to assist. Dina maintains a positive attitude and is willing to do whatever is necessary for the students, staff, and families at KLH. We are very proud to nominate Diane, Natalie, Elvia, and Dina as pillars of Valley View School District.
Next up, AVM. Oh, there she is.
Hello, good evening. I just have to point out that as we were standing in the corner and KLH came up, our pillar today, Mrs. Vicki Witt, said, "Gosh, Dawn McCrae, I taught her everything she knew. She was my student teacher." So our pillar for today is Mrs. Vicki Witt, who has been in Valley View for several years in a few different buildings, and we are delighted that she was able to finish, well, she's got a lot more years, but she's going to be finishing her career here with us at AVM. 2 weeks ago, as I was supervising 20 boys who were participating in a group to help support their connection to our school community through poetry, the group leader asked the students to think of someone who has taught them something important in life. One of the students confidently shared with his peers, "Mrs. Witt taught us well, really well." This is a common sentiment that is heard when students and families are talking about the impact that Mrs. Witt has had on them, both academically and personally. When asked by Mr. Normand, "Why do you do what you do?" Mrs. Witt shared that when she was growing up, she didn't have someone there for her. So now she is taking on the responsibility of being there for all of her students. And if I can also point out that some of her former students are still in the audience right now from our cheerleading group. So they stayed specifically because they saw Mrs. Witt coming up. It's pretty awesome. Mrs. Witt has dedicated countless minutes, hours, days, and years to support the needs of her students. She is one of the very first staff members to arrive in the morning and usually one of the last to leave to make sure that her materials are prepared and that she's reviewing student work to make sure that she provides timely and effective feedback. Her data also supports her impact. Her students' growth is routinely in the top percentile of growth in both our building and across the district. According to Mrs. Witt, she's learned over the years how to be empathetic versus sympathetic, which is why she was selected to teach WIN this past year, the What I Need course at the middle school level. Through this course and the passion she has for her students and for the program, Mrs. Witt has built a sense of community with her sixth graders that served to welcome them to our building and set a strong foundation for their continued social and emotional success as middle schoolers. In Mrs. Witt's words, "WIN has helped my thinking. It's not about what I need, it's about what they need. I love coming here every day, and currently this is my favorite year." In addition to her teaching responsibilities, Mrs. Witt has developed an after-school tutoring program to help struggling readers. She solicited donations to enhance her classroom library, and her knitting club that she voluntarily sponsors was featured on Valley View School District's Facebook page, where her video, at least when I wrote this about a week and a half ago, had been seen by more than 3,400 viewers. Right? All of these accomplishments, all of these successes, and Mrs. Witt still says she needs to reach more kids. It is with great excitement that we acknowledge Mrs. Vicki Witt as a pillar of Valley View for her passion, dedication, and continued focus on the needs of our students. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mrs. Witt. Moving down the agenda, liaison reports. Oh, we have the high school liaison reports. Let's do board members first. Any from the right? Any from the left?
Am I to your left? Cool. I have one. On February 5th, the Discipline Committee met to make sure that the handbooks are all, at all levels, are dealing with the discipline coordinates with the Senate Bill 100 so that we coordinate and make sure that everything's kosher. Thank you.
Thank you. High school liaisons. Who's first? Bolingbrook or Romeo? Whoever's up, come up.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Salvador Perez, and I would like to invite you all to the choir concert this Tuesday, February 12th at 6:15. All the songs will be written by Black composers inspired by Black History Month. Hope to see you all.
Good evening, members of the board and community. My name is Nehal Kaur, and I would like to invite you that NHS is hosting a food drive for people in need during the week of February 20th to March 1st. All the proceeds will be taken to a national organization in Glendale Heights. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Ariana Barajas, and today I want to recognize a teacher that's had a great impact, not only on me, but on all of her students. The person I'm referring to is Señorita Rada, a heritage Spanish teacher at BHS. Now, to say Señorita Rada is just a teacher would be a great injustice. Señorita Rada is not just a teacher, she's a role model, someone to talk to, someone to ask for advice, and someone her students greatly appreciate. Ask anyone who's had her, and they will tell you she's funny, kind, supportive, relatable, and well, the list goes on. Personally, the way Señorita Rada strives to help her students, whether it's educationally with scholarship opportunities or personally by being a great listener, has made me feel lucky to have her as a teacher. If Señorita Rada can please rise. Señorita Rada, te quiero decir gracias por todo lo que has hecho. Te aprecio mucho. Thank you.
We would like to congratulate all the state qualifiers, those being recognized as All-State and as well BHS and RHS state scholars. You really do a great job honoring Valley View. Does the board have any questions for us?
Anybody have any questions? No, sir, young man. Be safe driving home, and thanks for what you do. Take
Good
that
night.
message back to the school.
Be safe.
Any audience participation, since we already, I'm sorry, got one more.
Sorry.
RHS.
Got a hobble, sorry. Hello, everyone that's still here. I'm Joseph Vasquez, and I'm a senior at Romeoville High School. Okay. We are keeping our comments brief tonight as we are happy to celebrate all of the amazing accomplishments of our Valley View peers. We would like to congratulate all of our RHS Illinois State scholars as long as our Bolingbrook ones as well. Additionally, tonight, we would like to offer our gratefulness towards our RHS maintenance crew. Thank you to Tim Gavin, Kevin Smith, Anthony Ramir, Jim Giovanti, Eduardo Hernandez, and Sean Kinder. They have worked diligently over the past few weeks to keep our sidewalks and parking lots clear of all the snow. Sorry. Also, over the severe cold days, we had a pipe burst in our LMC. The staff worked quickly to make the repairs and get our LMC back and up and running for all of our students. The maintenance department has always been incredibly supportive of all of our events and activities we host at RHS. We are appreciately immensely. We would also like to offer our thanks to all the district personnel who supported the efforts in our cleanups as well. Thank you.
Thank you. It's always good to have an enthusiastic cheer crowd for you in the back. Any audience participation? Is anybody in the audience who wishes to address the board on actions we have taken this evening? Seeing none, moving down the agenda. We are now at the part where Rachel Kinder, no, I'm sorry, I skipped ahead here. Student due process, case A. Dr. Mitchum?
Yes, Mr. President, I'd like to ask that the board approve case A as presented.
Motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Is there any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Member Gilbo?
Yes.
Member Pero?
Yes.
Member Badouris?
Yes.
Secretary Sikora?
Yes.
Vice President Zach?
Yes.
President Quigley?
Yes. Next up, new course, well, wait a minute. Should I backtrack or just do it at the end? We'll do it at the end. New course, AP Environmental Science. I believe we discussed this at the previous meeting.
Yes, sir, we did. So this is the action report that I'm bringing back, Action Report 11.1, seeking approval for a new course, AP Advanced Placement Environmental Science. We had shared the details surrounding the curriculum and the implementation of this course, and we're seeking your approval this evening.
Motion?
Second.
Motion and second. Is there any discussion? Any questions? Looking forward to AP Environmental Science for the juniors and seniors next year. Roll call vote, please.
Member Badouris?
Yes.
Member Pero?
Yes.
Member Gilbo?
Yes.
Secretary Sikora?
Yes.
Vice President Zach?
Yes.
President Quigley?
Yes. Mr. Grisafi? Thanks, sir. Ms. Nash, action items.
Thank you, sir. Action Report 13.1 is our consolidated action report for certified and classified personnel. This evening, we're seeking your approval on 25 items for certified personnel, 36 items for classified personnel, 1 item for classified administrative personnel, and 1 item for certified administrative personnel.
Motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, seeing none. Roll call vote, please.
Member Badouris?
Yes.
Member Gilbo?
Yes.
Member Peril?
Yes.
Secretary Sikora?
Yes.
Vice President Zach?
Yes.
President Quigley?
Yes. Next up, Superintendent Information Report, Naviance.
Yes, Information Report 14.1, I'd like to invite our Director of College and Career Readiness, Dorletta Payton, up to the microphone, please. Dorletta will be sharing some information with us this evening regarding adoption of a college and career readiness platform for middle and high schools that would be effective with the 1920 school year. So she's going to outline a little bit of the background regarding how we've arrived at this conclusion that this is a solution for us to support all of our students to be college, career, and life ready, and support them in that transition as they identify a post-secondary pathway. So I will turn it over to Dorletta, and we will be happy then to answer any questions that the board may have.
Thank you, Mrs. Kinder. Good evening, Valley View School Board, and to senior leadership. It is my pleasure to present to you for this information report about Naviance, which is a platform for college and career readiness for our students. Basically, we had a need to find a comprehensive solution that would allow us to have our students align their strengths, their interest with their post-secondary goals. Ultimately, that's what we're all here for, to prepare our students for after they leave Valley View, in the hopes that they will be able to have a successful career and life. So we needed a solution that would help us improve our student outcomes by connecting what they were learning in the classroom to life. So Naviance is that platform that provides that connection. Naviance is the top platform in the United States. There are over 180 districts that use Naviance. It's higher than that in Illinois. There are a number of large school districts that use Naviance, from CPS, Indian Prairie, Naperville 203, Plainfield. You can see the list there. So there are a number of districts that surround us that have already been using Naviance for a number of years. So besides Naviance being a solution for what we need to help our students with their college and career readiness planning, it also aligns with our strategic plan. Specifically, Goal 1, which, as I said, the reason we're all here is to prepare our students for college, career, and life. And then in partnerships. In Goal 4, with community partnerships, we are working with partners, and we work with partners now to provide career experiences for our students. And Naviance provides a way to track those experiences. And now that is a requirement from the Illinois State Board of Education via the Illinois Every Student Succeeds Act. So that is one of the requirements, and there are a number of things under college and career readiness besides career experience that are able to be tracked via Naviance and used to report to the state. The other part is family partnerships, and this is one area that I am particularly passionate about. Naviance will provide a way for families, parents, to be on the same page, have the same information about what their student is doing and where they are in the college and career readiness process. So Naviance provides a way for school staff, school counselors to share information and communicate with parents about what their students need to learn and what they need to do next along the college and career readiness pathway. You all have a hard copy of what we have on the screen, which is called Illinois PACE, Post-Secondary and Career Expectations, as have been outlined by the state of Illinois for ESSA. And many of us have been spending quite a bit of time exploring, learning about the Illinois PACE requirements. And we knew that we had already been looking, and then when we saw these requirements and the need to report as well, we felt that what we had already identified as a solution would fulfill these PACE requirements. So what I did, kind of to step back for just a moment, when we're talking about what is Naviance going to do for our students, is I went to our course guide. And in our course guide, we have some pages that basically outline what we ask our students to do in order to be ready for post-secondary. And those are the copies that you have behind the Illinois PACE expectations. First, we emphasize that it's about where they are going. So we ask them to look at what are their strengths, what are their weaknesses, what are their interests that they have, and we do that through assessments. Then, based upon that, we ask them to explore their options, identify the careers that line up with those strengths, weaknesses, and interests to find careers, jobs, etc., that would be amenable to you, that you would enjoy. And then last, prepare for the training that your future career will require. The reality is that virtually every job that is going to result in a salary where they can sustain themselves and a family is going to require some kind of post-secondary training or education. So those are the first three things that we ask our students to do. And so when we're talking about post-secondary training, post-secondary education, the next page outlines the 5 general areas that we talk to our students about. And that is 4-year colleges and universities, community colleges, trade schools, vocational schools, apprenticeship programs, and the military. All of these are options for students to receive post-secondary training. And finally, the last sheet that you see are the actual career clusters. There are 16 career clusters. A student might not identify that exact specific thing that they want, but they might know that they want something in technology or they want something in health science. And what these career clusters provide for the student is different areas that they can look at to say, well, I know I'm interested in this. Let me explore some of the different possibilities for future careers for me. So I wanted to provide that, and you will find that in our course guides as well. What Naviance does is it takes everything that I just explained, and it gives us the way to do that using technology. And I will go over a tiny bit about the curriculum that Naviance has, the tasks that Naviance has that allow not only for our students to do it, but for us to be sure that all of our students are going through the steps that are needed. So the student success process that Naviance has does just what I explained. Who am I? What do I want to be? How will I succeed? And how will I get there? Naviance starts with assessments, things like the Strengths Explorer, Do What You Are, the Career Cluster Finder, where students, these are research-based assessments that Naviance uses for students to go through, answer questions, and then the output of those assessments are potential careers that the students can then explore further, not only what is the career about, but what is the salary? Not only what is the salary, but in Illinois, what is the salary? What is the future growth of this career? Most of the jobs that the students that we are teaching and educating today that they will hold do not exist. Information expands so rapidly that we have to prepare our students to be able to perform jobs that they might not even know. But if they've gone through these assessments, they have an idea of the kind of task, the kind of environment, et cetera, that they like and that they would enjoy in their career. And everybody wants to have a job that they enjoy, right? Well, I do. And I do love my job. So Naviance has a curriculum that has 6 areas that they explore. And this curriculum starts at 6th grade and goes all the way through 12th grade. So just as I was talking about in career knowledge, they identify career clusters, understanding careers, career search, fit, further education, and career goal setting. I've been attending different trainings and different workshops, and one that I attended recently talked about skills that students need, like what employers tell us that students need, and those are skills that they need whether it's going to be for a career or for their future education. So this curriculum puts in the hands of our school counselors, of our staff, lessons where we collect pre-assessments, post-assessment data to be able to evaluate the impact of that lesson on the student and to make sure that each student got what they needed. So this is a lot of words on this page, and I did highlight quite a bit. This is from Naviance when they were talking about how careers are changing. And it says that students who are able to identify their life interests and career aspirations are more likely to connect their current academics to their future aspirations. That makes them more likely to graduate from high school, earn more money, and be more involved in their community. And so I won't go through the rest of it, but it's further studies and information, research that support the idea of that career, starting with career exploration and then building a plan is the way to help students be successful now and in the future. The other thing that Naviance does is it provides us a way to support all students. Many times I've asked school counselors, can you tell me what percentage of your caseload you have completed X with? How can you be sure? And the reality is we needed a better technology platform to be able to enable them to have that information quickly and accurately. So Naviance increases communications with students that might be off track, might need a reminder to help them set goals, to explore careers through Road Trip Nation, which is a video platform with over 3,000 videos of young people going around the country and interviewing people in different careers. Journaling is another option, and then specific tasks, again, related to college and career readiness. So after students engage in these activities, one of the best areas that we find in Naviance is the reporting. And the reason why I like reporting so much is because that is an integral part for school counselors to be able to, number one, know their impact, number two, know what students need further intervention, and three, to plan what they're going to do in the future. So this report, which is a cluster report. It has students by the year of their graduating class and the career cluster that they chose. A school counselor could use this information to help identify the most popular careers, and they could use that in things like planning the college and career fair like they had at Bolingbrook last week, or in helping identify further career experiences for our students. So this kind of information is very powerful to help them target their interventions. Like I mentioned before, with the Illinois ESSA requirements, there's going to be a need to not only measure it, but report it to the state. And so Naviance this year is piloting the reporting for the ESSA college and career requirements to the state, and this is a sample of the Illinois PACE ESSA report, looking at what percentage of your students have completed the career interest profiler, how many have added careers to their favorites list, completed the super match, because if the career that you identified requires further education, you need to find an educational institution, and then a scope and sequence for each grade that needs to be completed. So this is a great example of the reporting. Here's another example of reporting, and this is through the Naviance Insights program that looks at not only at the activities that the students complete in Naviance, but also pulls in data such as what courses have they taken, their test scores, and along with the activities that they do in Naviance, and puts all of that data together to allow administrators, school counselors to plan, to number one, understand better, and then to plan and make adjustments. So, you know, how many math courses are students taking? You know, many students might say, you know what, I don't need to take math in my senior year. But using this kind of reporting, we can go backwards and say students that have taken 4 math classes have the following outcomes versus students that have only taken 3. And whether they are going to college and career, they need the math. I won't go into a story with me talking to our different trade representatives last week at Bolingbrook High School College and Career Trade Fair, but all of them emphasize the need for math skills. So this is just a sample of going back in time. We can go back 6 years to analyze our data. And it also delineates the data by ethnicity and gender, income level, et cetera. So it's very powerful information. So that was a lot that I said, but I'm gonna summarize it here. 3 things. Naviance is a comprehensive college and career readiness solution for our students. It is customizable by student. It is customizable by school. It allows us to personalize the post-secondary plans for the students because we know that there is no one size fit all. It allows us to send email messages to students. And also, Naviance has an app that they can use on their phone now and receive those alerts and messages. And then automated reminders. If you need to send reminders to a large portion or your entire caseload, Naviance has the ability to do that. Managing the process of college application for those students that want to go on to college. It is very daunting to keep up with deadlines. Did I send that transcript? Did I receive all of my letters of recommendation? Naviance does that through their partnership with the Common App, using technology automatically. I cannot emphasize how much time and angst this feature will save. Also working in collaboration with the National Student Clearinghouse that keeps track of all of our alumni that graduate from Valley View and what they do education-wise after they leave for up to 8 years. Naviance taps into that data for our students and provides reports that not only we as staff and school counselors can use, but students can use as well. It doesn't have identifiable data, but they can look at graduates from their high school that went to X college, what was their GPA, what were their test scores, and compare where they stand. And then last, I've already talked about data analysis and reporting. So I am open for any questions that you might have now.
First of all, thank you, Mrs. Kinder, for answering all my questions today. I must have written 5 or 6 about this program. The one that I still have questions about is who, this program is only as good as the input that's put into it, okay? So the children and the parents, I know, put some in, but who's going to put in like test scores and that Meyer-Briggs stuff and all that information into it? Whose responsibility will that be? Because our counselors are kind of overloaded to begin with, so now we put something else on them. That concerns me.
Absolutely. So depending upon what the information is, in the example that you just gave of test scores, that information is taken automatically, not automatically, but is taken basically automatically from Infinite Campus and pulled into Naviance. Absolutely, yes. So information about test scores, information about what classes they have taken, all of that information is taken from Infinite Campus. Now, when you talked about the Myers-Briggs, et cetera, when the students take those assessments, those results then are recorded automatically within Naviance. So a school counselor or the student or the parent can go and look at those results. And that's the beauty of Naviance, because like you said, our school counselors have a full load. This platform allows them to be so much more efficient, to save so much time in dealing with Common App, in sending transcripts, letters of recommendation. They don't have to create their own Excel spreadsheet to track it. They have a dashboard in Naviance that tracks that for them. That's the power of the eDocs feature of Naviance.
So,
Hi there.
how much time, I mean, just as a incoming freshman, they start and they enter some data, then they're going to do this over time. I think it's a fascinating tool. Having a son who's in college and one who's a sophomore. So that my first question, if we were to approve this, how do we capture the kids that already can, I'm sure they can go back and rebuild this, but we'll be, my son will be a junior next year, so he'll be missing these first 2 steps. And I'll be honest with you, my oldest son, who wants to be an architect, didn't decide what he wanted to do until his senior year when he took a class in architectural drawing. And it, apparently he has a talent for it, and he's off to college on behalf, but it would have been nice, obviously it would have been nice to see something like this. It is what it is, but is there a way to, at least in the short term, that we can already capture the kids that are already in school going forward?
Excellent question.
I know it'll take some focus efforts to do that, but by the same token, and some of this is on the student and the families as well, obviously. So.
Excellent question. We right now use a program called Zello, which is part of the Career Cruising Company. And through Zello, we have assessments, and we have different assessments that are done at different grades. So we are doing not all of the assessments that Naviance has, but we are doing some assessments now to help students narrow their focus. The difference between a Zello and a Naviance is Naviance does not stop at the career assessment and the career exploration. They have a very robust platform for what comes after that, and also helping manage the college application process and the curriculum, which I don't want to forget.
That's the part that's really important. And we have students who may go off to college whose parents never did, and they're going to start looking at all these requirements and things that you have to do. And I mean, a lot of this is a checklist, but if you don't know what the checklist is, it can be daunting. And just looking, the applications and the FAFSA and all the things that you got to, did you do this? Did you do that? I'll be honest with you, my wife and I almost left $5,000 on the table for my son because we didn't check a box.
You're right.
Fortunately, we were able to go back and correct that, but we weren't sure until we actually got down to the school where he's at. And had something like this been available, maybe we would have seen that application that we missed off on, so.
And Mr. Quigley, that's why this platform is important, because it allows school counselors to work smarter. and to be able to spend more time with students. For the student that might have a special situation, or when the school counselor signs on to Naviance and they look at their dashboard and they can see that these particular students have not completed any of the tasks. They've indicated that they want to do X, but they haven't completed any of the tasks. Naviance alerts for that. The other thing that it does is, in the example of your son, it pulls in FAFSA data. We can pull in who has completed FAFSA, and we can also see, based upon the college that your child identifies, Naviance already has the deadline for regular admission, for early admission. All of that is in Naviance, so they don't need to go and do that research. It's already within the program. And lastly, let me say that if they use Common App, Naviance is the platform that has an official partnership with Common App, so everything for Common App is done through Naviance.
Maybe up, Diane?
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I'm done.
So would this, when you were showing the report where it listed like where their interests were and stuff,
Yes.
would that possibly be used also to maybe address additional classes that we might want to offer at the high school?
Absolutely. What we want is for students to be engaged in their education. And so part of that is using what their interests are and their future goals in that course planning process. So if a student has said, I want to be an architect, or I want to be whatever it might be, finding those courses that line up with that interest so that they can really confirm that that's their interest, because sometimes kids think that they're interested in something, and upon further exploration, they find that they're not. That saves the parent money. Or two, it confirms that interest, and it helps them be just that much more ready as they go into post-secondary.
Okay. And then so you're doing it for middle school, you'll start in 6th grade, and I could see that possibly being done in the WIN?
Yes.
Okay. At high school, when will they have, during their day, when will they focus on it? Will it just be with meetings with their counselor? Will it be independent?
So we will definitely incorporate some of these tasks into their classes. There are some tasks that really align well with maybe their English course. Like one of the things that I can think of is writing essays, or something that we know every student needs to do. We have to find a course where every student does it. Another opportunity is during the homerooms. So each high school has homerooms. RHS actually has freshman homeroom and sophomore homeroom. So being able to push some of those tasks through those as well. So some will happen in class, but the beauty of this curriculum is you can also use it as a flipped curriculum, meaning the student can go through it electronically. All of the lessons have a pre and post assessment. So because we are a one-to-one district, if we need to, we can actually assign lessons, tasks, et cetera, to students to do on their own. But some of them will be incorporated within their classes in the school day.
Thank you. And then one last question. Why is it a 3 1/4 year?
That was weird, isn't it? Because we're starting now in the spring and it goes through June. So that's the quarter year.
Okay, I had some questions as well. Diane hit on one of them about when students would be able to have time to do this and how. So you kind of talked about that a little bit. So it sounds like there would have to be some planning on when students would be able to do that. Also, I saw where it said blended learning curriculum and accessing lessons. So I guess I'm asking where that's going to all fit into and how that's going to impact what students are already doing in class, and will it take away from what they're doing again there, and talk a little bit about the blended learning.
Thank you. So the blended learning is kind of what I was talking about in some of the learning being able to be electronic. Everything doesn't have to happen in the classroom. And the curriculum that Naviance has more lessons actually than we would be able to deliver each year. They have a plethora of them. And so part of the planning, and we've already identified some of the lessons that we want to deliver next year, is selecting for your student body which are the lessons and which are the activities that are most important, number one. Number two, when are you going to deliver it? Is it going to be in homeroom? Are you going to partner with the science department, the English department, the math department, the PE department, in order to deliver classes? And we do have already those partnerships that happen between the school counselors and other departments within the building. As we get better at this, and when I mean this, I mean as we continue to work our strategic plan and looking at college and career readiness and different interventions and lessons, we hope to be able to incorporate even more into curriculum so that it's seamless and it's not something extra. Because all of us should be talking about college and career readiness. Teachers have the ability, they don't have to teach a lesson, but just talking to a student about their future plans, recognizing what a student's gifts and talents are, and just being able to encourage that student to explore those. These are the things that help change our culture into a career-going culture. So yes, lots of planning. We already do some of that, and we will do even more each year as we implement this platform.
So are there any back of the house things?
Yes.
The IT support, is that going to be a big thing, or are we?
It's not a big thing, but it is an important thing
Okay.
because Naviance interacts with Infinite Campus. So they have extensive experience with working with districts and schools that use Infinite Campus. I have visited some of those schools
Sure.
along with school counselors and some administrators while we were exploring, was this a viable solution? And so this is something that for them, for Naviance, they've done it hundreds of times.
Okay, I'm sure that our crack IT folks can do this stuff. I just want to, do we have any idea what kind of cost might be associated with that outside?
That's included.
It's included? Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's definitely included, and our technology department is very thorough in vetting out what is all required on the back end for that technology integration. So we're very well entrenched in that.
I gotta ask.
Absolutely, that's a
And
great.
they've already been communicating with each other.
Thank you.
So you're saying that the cost, contract terms and cost that we have listed here includes tech?
Yes, it
in-house,
does.
as well as getting the. Okay.
Yes, it does.
Okay, I have another concern too. It sounds like there's going to be a lot of personal information tracking a child. Potentially, it says that there's going to be stuff going on K through 5 systemic planning to introduce career pathways. So all the way through their career, all the way up to 12th grade, talking about ethnicity, gender, wealth of a family, and on and on. What are the privacy policies and protections for kids and their families?
Good question. Two-part answer to that. Number one, these are already things that we use, pieces of information that we use associated with our students when we are analyzing data and doing different things. But our technology department, for every vendor that we have, they inspect not only what their privacy policies are, but what kind of technology they use to safeguard information. And our tech department has already done that with Naviance.
And I also would like to add that this is for information, so we have not had the contract reviewed by legal yet, but that's always a part of our process to ensure that the contractual language is solid and from a legal stance in terms of the protection of our student and family information, just as we did with the adoption of a new student information system, for example. And then obviously, as Darletta has shared, this is not a new vendor or a new company, so they have a proven track record of partnerships with a high standard of protecting the data and security for our students and for district. So we rely heavily on that with the legal review, the technology inspection, and we have, I've been told by many vendors, the highest standard that they've encountered. So we do not take that lightly.
Okay, and I have one more. And Steve kind of hit upon it when he talked about his son who didn't know what he wanted to do until his senior year, thought he might have wanted to do something else before that, and then decided on something else later. So my concerns are, I can see a lot of positives because this gives a lot of information to students to help guide them, but I guess my concern is too much guidance. Steering them in a path that maybe later on isn't for them. What are our safeguards with that?
Good question. I would say we're definitely not in danger at any time soon of giving too much guidance. That I think that we, because we haven't had the right system, probably could have done even more, and we're looking forward to doing even more for our students. But the thing about being ready, about the students that we're educating now and preparing them for the future, the 21st century learners, is flexibility is one of the things that our students need to have. So this kind of goes in things that they do in the academic domain here in the district, but it also social emotional. But being able to take information, process, analyze that information, and apply that information. And so that's what this program is giving students. It's giving them information based upon their likes, dislikes, personality, etc. So if a student does the assessments and comes out with X career path that is recommended, and then in a year or two they change their mind, that's no problem, because academically we're preparing all of our students to be college and career ready. And so they will have the coursework that is needed for whichever path they decide to go. But that's, you know, most kids do that in college. Go to college, declare a major, change their major again, and they waste a lot of money for their parents. So change is something that we definitely have to be ready for, are ready for, but I think that what this does is help minimize the number of changes that are going to cost parents and students money and time after they leave our district.
Okay, and I think this is my last one for now. And this goes to what Diane had said about how I can see where it can help a school district and guide them to what curriculum we may choose, depending on what students are showing that they're interested in. Just looking at some of the information that you presented today, it could be too narrow as well, and then might be a guiding point too much for the district. And then we change over and we become more narrow based on, like, maybe there's not enough. That's just because I'm not familiar with what is available in there. There might not be enough. So there might be saying, you know, the student should go down this path and this student should go down that path. But what if there are other paths that are not within this system and we don't hit upon that here in our district because we're trying to suffice what it's showing us? Does that make sense?
I think I understand. If when I answer I didn't hit it, then let me know. So when we look at these career pathways, one of the things that we already do as a district, and Tammy Kahn, who is our director of CTE, is extensively involved in this, is we look at pathways that are careers that are in high demand in our area, number one. and I could tell you because we communicate a lot and look at that research. Transportation logistics, healthcare, technology, and manufacturing. So that's 4 of 16, right? So what if a student is interested in something that is not one of those pathways that is a high need in our area, that we probably have extensive things associated with that? That's where our goal for community partnerships really comes into place, is identifying people, businesses in the community and surrounding area that have different positions where they are willing to give our students a career experience. It might be a job shadow, it might be an internship, it might be a summer job. And so everything that's in our local economy is not in that narrow number of pathways. Every one of these pathways, probably we have something in our surrounding area in. So our job is to partner, identify those potential partnerships, partner with them, and provide opportunities for students to go and, again, find out if, yeah, I really like this, or I thought I did, but I want something different. So I don't think that from a curriculum, meaning a core curriculum standpoint, those are not shifts that we make quickly on a dime. For something related to this. But if, like that report that we saw, if over time we see a trend for certain career clusters that are really popular and the trend is up, then that's something that we as administrators need to look at when we are planning our curriculum for the future. And that is something that we would say we need to have more coursework in this area. But that's the benefit of having X number of years to look at for a trend line, and not just say, oh, this year we had 50% of our kids choose this. No, it's something that allows us to have the information we need to make that intelligent decision.
Thank you.
Did I answer it?
Yep. So if you guys have other questions, I'm sure Deletto will make herself available
Absolutely.
as you go through this. But thank you. This is pretty nifty. Thanks.
Thank you.
Moving down the agenda, where are we at? Let's see. Oh, what you all came for, the legal services report.
No report.
Thank you, sir. AFT report. Thank you. Valley View Council report. No report. Valley View Office Personnel Council report. My lawyer is pointing out to me, audience participation. Is there anybody in the audience who wishes to address the board this evening? Seeing none, hearing none. Moving down the agenda. Any old business before the board this evening? Any new business before the board this evening? Any questions from the public on actions we have taken this evening? Any announcements by the board? From my right, look at them all go for their microphones. From my left.
There you go. Just to let you know that the Valley View Enrichment Foundation dinner and auction will be held on Friday, March 29th, starting at 6 o'clock. It is Derby Days. There'll be prizes for the best Derby attire, and we hope to see everybody there. It's our biggest fundraiser for our grants for our teachers.
Can you win a horse? Or a pony? I always wanted a pony.
I just want to give a big shout out to our maintenance workers and our transportation department. These past 2 weeks have been pretty stressful with the weather, and I know I happened to be at BHS this morning and was talking to a maintenance person. They got a text yesterday that they had to be there at 4 o'clock this morning to make sure the sidewalks were shoveled. So that's the kind of things that happen behind the scenes that make our buildings perfect when we go into them, or the students go into them in the day. So thank you to our maintenance and to our transportation, who has to keep our kiddos safe transporting them.
Anyone else? Motion to adjourn would be in order. Oh, wait a minute. I didn't ask the board if they had any questions. Staff?
Administration?
Administration, do you have any announcements?
Yes, I have one brief announcement. as I reflected on watching all of our performing arts students here tonight that we celebrated, it just reminded me of the effort in particular of Member Pero and the rest of the board to ensure that both of our high schools have top-notch, first-rate facilities in our fine arts departments. And I just wanted to thank the board and in particular Member Pero for that, because I think that having those facilities was very reflective in the number of students who received awards tonight and the number of students who actually engage in our fine arts programs. So thank you for your support.
Thank you, Dr. Mitchum. Anybody else got anything? Motion to adjourn. Motion seconded.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The ayes have it. Have a safe evening. Be careful. It is slick out there. The streets are wet and freezing, so that's not a good combination.